The fault of the big picture is that it omits evil. It's all good. We won the war, therefore we must have deserved to win it. Therefore we are wonderful people without fault, and so on. Right there you can read the history of modern Europe and the Allies' continued relation with it. A lot of the Cold War is based upon that. American behavior in Vietnam, which assumes that anybody who's opposed to communism must be wonderful, you see, and who's astonished when people opposing communism prove to be as wicked as the communists. I'm thinking of Lieutenant Calley and people like that. Yes, it has a lot to do with post-war assumptions and post-war national behaviors, I would say, that great big picture, which so conveniently omits individual evil. And my crucial memory, and the memory that really starts all of my other memories about the war, is waking up in this pine forest. My first morning in the war. It was still dark, but just barely getting light. And as it got light, I was astonished to see within 3 or 4 feet of me several bodies, dead bodies, of German boys who'd been killed, I think, the day before by the unit we were relieving. These boys were just exactly like me, and they were killed. Their eyes were open, and their faces were as white as marble, greenish white. And at that moment, when I saw what I was involved in, actually for the first time, my training had never told me this, many of my adolescent illusions about reason and the governance of the world by reason and common sense and the idea of progress fell away all at once. And I realized in that one moment that I would never be again in that world of childhood innocence where the world is run by reason and where events contain a certain amount of justice. I knew that I was now deeply enmeshed in a world of injustice and unreason. That I would have to figure out how to survive in that world or how to make sense of it later on. They know better. They know sort of how much fun it was to direct artillery fire upon a hillside full of innocent German boys and to blow them all up. It was fun. It involved a great deal of technical expertise. There's a way of doing it well and there's a way of doing it badly and so on. And you don't see the lads you're killing, so it's not as bad as it might be. But still, what you're doing is destroying human beings for the sake of the new post-war world. There's clearly a conflict between individual memory and the big story, as you might put it, which was constructed out of a number of actual and very useful events. One was the trials at Nuremberg, which established the version of the good war, which is certainly true. On the other hand, chipping away at that constantly is this secret version of the war which is possessed by the actual combat veterans. The problem is that the experience of the veterans is very largely depressing, pessimistic about human nature. It shows how awful human beings can be and how indeed how they can be brought to enjoy murder and enjoy depriving other people of their limbs and their lives. Now that's very bad news for human nature, and it conflicts with the optimistic news which is conveyed by the official picture.